Hello guys, how are you? I hope everything goes well. Okay, for today's session, we're going to start working with our first model. I'm going to explain you the introduction according to this video class, and also I'm going to explain what kind of activities you're going to find during the moment you're going to start working with them. Okay, perfect. Don't forget it. My name is Angela Garzón, and I'm going to be your teacher for these current course. So I hope this information will be very useful for you. So right here, you're going to find down different activities that you're going to start doing, right? But it's important to take into account this part, which is our chronometer. So the schedule according to the different activities we that you are going to send them to me. Okay, so here we have the activity start day and day, and also the final grade. So right here in this column, you're going to see the different percentages according to each of them. So for our introduction form, so we have the start day, which was last Monday until April 11th. That is very important that you participate in this forum. Why? Because the idea is that you're going to introduce yourself to not only me, but also your classmates, right? So you're going to tell us what kind of activities you like to do in your free time, what activities you hate doing, all the information that you want to tell us, right? So, for example, you live alone, where do you live, what do you do? All of these questions you're going to take into account at the moment you're going to introduce yourself. Entonces, como tal, la primera actividad que nosotros tenemos es el foro de introducción. Ustedes allí encontrarán la descripción acerca de, es un ejemplo de mí, entonces en relación con el estudio que he tenido, lo que me gusta hacer y otras cosas más. En este caso, o teniendo en cuenta, digamos, este ejemplo, les gusta que ustedes también se presenten e incluyan todas las características que ustedes quieren para que así, pues, entre nosotros podamos conocernos un poco más. That is the idea according to this first introduction part. Okay, we're going to continue with our glossary, which is a pretty important activity because there are 10 words for each glossary. The idea is starting the week, for example, from Wednesday to Wednesday, you're going to send it to me like a list according to those words that they're going to appear in the bulletin de inicio right there. And according to it, you're going to start working with them. You're going to create some examples. The idea is that you create your own examples, don't copy and paste from other web pages, no. You're going to be your own creators, okay? Perfect. Entonces, el glosario es una actividad que ustedes van a entregar semana a semana. Son 10 palabras por cada una de las entregas. Ustedes van a ver publicadas estas palabras en el boletín de inicio cuando ustedes ingresen a la plataforma. Tenemos las siguientes fechas. You can see right here, the start date there is April 11th. So for today until this week, April 18th. The idea according to this is that you're going to be very aware according to them how you can use them, what examples you can make with them, and all of the most important characteristics made of this activity glossary, okay? So here we have our first video class, which is according to the introduction, according to these current cards. So later on, the model one, I'm going to start explaining the topics you're going to find. At the moment, you're going to read the information, not only from the PDF format, but also when you're going to start working with different activities. So this firm comparing operating system and tax operating systems history. Okay, those two activities that are the activities are going to be graded for this current first model, okay? Here, you're going to identify the different days from today until April 18, and the second activity there is going to be from April 18 until April 25th, okay? Don't forget to do them on time, yes, there is very important to take into account this part. Entonces recuerden las fechas acá para que ustedes las tengan muy en cuenta para este primer módulo, como pueden ver acá en el florograma tenemos dos actividades. La primera de ellas es el foro y la segunda es en relación a una tarea a la cual ustedes deben de enviar teniendo en cuenta ciertas características las cuales van a ser explicadas más adelante. Very important to take into account that to start working with. All right, so here, as you can see, there is a glossary explanation according to it. Entonces, el glosario, como ustedes pueden ver acá en la página, lo van a encontrar en boletines, en este caso, Inglés 5, y aquí van a aparecer desglosados cada uno de ellos. We have the glossary first week. You're going to click on here, and then you're going to start reading the 10 words as required. And then you're going to just continue working with them. So right there for our glossary, right, we have some conditions and some criteria. At the moment, I'm going to grade this activity. For this glossary, as you know, there is a week of work. In total, there are going to be 5 cents that you have to just give it to me or send them to me. So there are going to be 10 words for each cent, right? Very important to take into account this. Cada uno de los glosarios equivale a un 1%, teniendo en cuenta que tenemos 5 de ellos durante todo el curso. Una vez ustedes presenten esos 5 glosarios, al final será la sumatoria de ellos. All right? So this activity doesn't have any like limit or extra deadlines, okay? There is only a deadline, solamente una fecha límite, una fecha establecida en la cual ustedes deben enviar como tal el glosario. Recuerden que es desde este miércoles hasta el próximo y así sucesivamente. So, for example, you have available your weekend to start working with that and to finish it. Yeah, just be aware of this. El glosario es acumulativo, las palabras son publicadas semanalmente en el espacio boletín de inicio y el glosario se debe trabajar en la aplicación llamada Evernote. That is very important to take into account this information because if you're going to send this activity to me using Word, Excel, or different web page, it is not going to be accepted. So the idea is that you're going to start working with this application Evernote. I'm going to explain how it works. You're going to start using it, and then when you have it, you're going to share the link to my email, right? Or it's just the way that you are going to start working with it. What is the suggested procedure according to this glossary? You're going to access your account, evernote.com, right? So right here, then you're going to create a note, van a crear una nota. You're going to find the different words according to each week from Boletín de Inicio, right there. Once when you have it, this part or this process, you're going to start looking for the meaning, right, of each of these words in wordreference.com is one possibility. There is one web page you can use, but if you want to use another word, you're welcome to do it, right? Then you're going to listen the pronunciation of each of these words, and finally, you're going to start writing the information of the glossary, categorizing this one into the following criteria or in the following items. So the first part that you have to take into account is this word, the function. Entonces, la primera parte, van ustedes a realizar allí una tabla en esta aplicación teniendo en cuenta la función de la palabra, cómo pronuncian esa palabra ustedes, cómo la escuchan, la traducción y van a redactar un ejemplo por cada una de estas. ¿Okay? So word function, what are the functions in English according to a word? It could be a noun, it could be an adjective, an adverb, yes? Entonces puede ser un sustantivo, puede ser un adjetivo, un adverbio, entre otros usos que nosotros tenemos de la parte lingüística de estas palabras. Luego tenemos la pronunciación. How do you listen to this word? Yes, you can go to wordreference.com. You're going to identify how it sounds, and later you're going to start writing how do you listen to it. Later we have the translation, right? The translation into Spanish. For example, if I have here system, then I'm going to say, sistema is the translation. Remember that in English, like different words, like one word can have a lot of different meanings, but the idea is to contextualize the word. And at the moment that you're going to write the translation, you're going to say, okay, according to this area of study, I'm going to choose the best option that fits with this word, and then you're going to write. The example, you're going to start just working with your own example. You're going to include this word into the sentence, right? Algo que les recomiendo para los glosarios que ustedes pueden ir de la mano con. Si ustedes tienen el glosario, entonces tienen 10 palabras, lo van a relacionar con la parte gramatical que vamos a ver más adelante para que sí mismo pueden hacer una práctica constante de estos temas. That is very important to take into account this part. Okay. Later you're going to share this web page, yes, a través de la pestaña compartir en Evernote. Recordemos que eh, es, si ustedes me mandan el link desde la parte superior de la página, este no va a quedar correctamente copiado, por tanto, yo no podré acceder a la actividad. De esta manera es importante que cuando ustedes realicen la actividad, van a mirar acá dentro de la página una pestaña que dice compartir. Desde allí van a pegar dicha dirección para luego enviarla en la parte de glosario. Okay? Then you just paste this web page, yeah, to the corresponding text from the week. Don't forget to greet me. That is pretty important. Don't forget my name. Don't change it, please. All right. So, trabajando con Evernote, entonces vamos a mirar un poco más específico cuál es el proceso para hacer dicho glosario. Entonces, aquí vamos a encontrar en esta página evernote.com, we have nueva nota, add note, right? Later on right here, you're going to just give a title to this note, yeah? Right there, you're going to see, you're going to insert, right, a chart, and right here, you're going to put the name of the lines you want to have. So later, we have right here, clic en compartir, ¿ok? Es la manera de copiar y pegar el link, ¿ok? No desde la parte superior de la página. Entonces acá tenemos clic en compartir, right here, enlace, ¿ok? Click in this part, then you copy and paste it, and then you send it to me, okay? Perfect, I hope this information is useful for you. All right, this one there is a process according to the glossary. Don't forget it. You're going to be very aware according to each quiz what are the 10 words you're going to use for this. So the comparatives and superlatives, that is one of the topics that we're going to start working with. I know that maybe you started them before, right? Just be aware according to the differences and similarities you're going to find during the process. Comparatives and superlatives. When do we use comparatives and when do we use superlatives? For the use of comparatives is when you refer to when you start comparing to objects, to people, to animals, to things in general. And in the case of superlatives, is when we start comparing three or more objects, people, or places. That's the difference we have, right? Just based on that. So right here, as you have, right? We're going to see like some information in regards to it. We're going to see some examples, so it's very important that you take them into consideration to start working with them. Once when you know the rules according to this topic, it is going to be easier to start working with your own exercises. The most important thing is just to make sure you understand these topics and later on you're going to start working by your own and there is not going to be difficult to do. So, entonces tenemos en el caso de los comparativos y superlativos, sabemos que en los comparativos nosotros hacemos una comparación de dos o más objetos, personas o lugares. A diferencia de los superlativos, que es cuando hacemos una distinción entre tres o más personas, lugares u objetos. En este caso vamos a ver una carta que contiene algunos ejemplos para que ustedes los observen, para que tengan en cuenta cuáles son las reglas gramaticales, digamos que dando como resultado ese componente gramatical. But be aware according to it and pay attention to it. Okay. Tenemos entonces aquí los adjetivos. Sabemos que en los comparativos, tanto como en los superlativos, lo que modificamos es el adjetivo, la cualidad. tenemos dentro del enunciado. En este caso, es importante tener en cuenta que, digamos que dicha distinción gramatical que hace particular cada uno de los adjetivos está enfocada no solamente en cuántas sílabas tiene este, sino qué tipo de enunciado nosotros queremos conformar, si es para comparar dos o más objetos o tres o más. En este caso, como tenemos aquí, podemos ver, we have one syllable, most of syllables, three or more syllables, and finally irregular adjectives. For those adjectives, we have small, hot, happy, boring, beautiful, expensive, interesting, good, and bad. Those are just some examples, ¿ok? Recordemos que nosotros, ¿cómo contamos las sílabas en inglés? En la forma en que nosotros pronunciamos la palabra. A diferencia del español, que nosotros tenemos allí una distinción porque decimos, en español nosotros contamos sílabas teniendo en cuenta cómo se escribe esa palabra. That's the difference we have. For the adjective small, right, we have the comparative way to say that is smaller and the superlative the smallest, right? Remember the pronunciation, small, smaller. En español, cuando nosotros decimos alguna palabra que comience por la ES, decimos el español, right? But in English it's different. We don't pronounce this E, no pronunciamos la E al inicio de la palabra. Entonces solamente van a tener en cuenta el sonido que hacemos, el sonido de la consonante, small, right? Smaller, the smallest. That is going to be very important to take into account this information. Entonces, como podemos ver acá, tenemos una regla que nos dice que si nosotros tenemos una sílaba y ese adjetivo eh, termina en doble consonante, entonces vamos a agregar solamente una ER y luego vamos a colocar un than para hacer la comparación respectiva. So, for example, if you're talking about, for instance, about two animals, the dog and the cat, you can start comparing those animals. So, right here, the dog is smaller than this cat, right? Right there we have. Entonces tenemos el primer sujeto del cual estamos hablando, luego el verbo to be, el cual va conjugado. Si es tercera persona, sabemos que debemos poner is. Si es en plural, are. Si es first person just singular, vamos a colocar am. It depends. Luego vamos a conjugar como tal el adjetivo than, que hace referencia al que, y luego el siguiente sujeto con el cual estamos haciendo esa distinción, right? So, the smallest, if you're comparing different wild animals, yeah, and you're in the jungle, what can you say according to them? You can say that the elephant, yeah, is the biggest, yeah, animal, right? The wild animal, but the smallest, what could be? Vamos a decir que la hormiga es el animal más pequeño que nosotros tenemos, comparando, digamos, que cierta lista de animales. So we say the ant is the smallest animal in the land, right? Okay, perfect. So let's continue with hot, hotter, and the hottest. If you're talking about different ceilings here in Colombia, yes, we had a tropical weather. We know that is very good just to sit on the sun and sunbathe. But when we start comparing those two series or three or more, we have to take into account the following. So, for the comparative way, we harder than we're going to say, for instance, start comparing Medellin and Bogota. Which of these series is harder? Of course, Medellin. So you say, Medellin is a hotter city than Bogota, okay? But if we ask about the whole series, which is the hottest city of Colombia, where we can say according to that. So maybe that Puerto Inira is the hottest city in Colombia, right? This one is one of the examples that we can make. Most two syllables, happy, happier than, and the happiest. So, right here, tenemos acá dos sílabas, la manera en que pronunciamos la palabra happy, right? Pero en este caso, nos damos cuenta que la última consonante es una Y. Cuando tenemos esta Y anteriormente, tenemos una consonante, la vamos a modificar por una I latina y agregamos ER. Yeah, that is the correct way to use that. So happy, happier than the happiest. If you're comparing different relatives, you could say that Anna is happier than Pepe. And the happiest person, my mother is the happiest person of my family. Yeah, you are just making a decision among different members of your family, and later on you start making your own sound, taking into account the grammar in the correct way to use. All right. Recordemos allí también que en el hot, como en el small, tenemos una sílaba. La única diferencia radica en que el hot, como digamos que su forma gramatical, tiene una consonante, una vocal y una consonante. Entonces, cuando tenemos solamente una sílaba y esta regla se aplica, vamos a duplicar esa última consonante y ahí sí agregamos el ER. Okay, don't forget it. I just forgetting to explain a little bit before, but there is very like an important information for you. Boring. How many syllables do we have in this word? If you pronounce, say, boring, two syllables, right? You can say more boring than and the most boring, which is the most boring person, right? Which is the most boring sport. Yeah, you can give me a lot of ideas or examples according to this superlative. All right. So, more boring. For instance, you are talking about different sports, and in my opinion, I could say that watching basketball games is more boring than watching soccer games, right? It's in my opinion, but it depends because if you heard a different word, there is going to be perfect, just taking into account the correct order of the grammar. The most boring, in your opinion, which is the most boring sport? Oh, well, I think that the most boring sport is, we can say rugby, because I'm not interested in watching it. Yeah, perfect. Three or more syllables. Ahora vamos a pasar con adjetivos que tienen tres o más sílabas. Beautiful, pensive, interesting, all right. All of them have three syllables. Just the difference that we're going to just make in this form is the following, right? Entonces, desde que tenemos dos sílabas hasta muchas más, vamos a tener en cuenta que no modificamos el adjetivo por sí mismo, sino que vamos a colocar un more en el caso de los comparativos, antecediéndolo, o el the most en el caso de los superlativos, right? For the beautiful, if you're going to say that more beautiful than and the most beautiful. For example, you are here in Bogota, there are different ports, you can go there, you can enjoy your time. So, I'm going to ask you, in your opinion, yes, which is the most beautiful port here in Bogota? And you could tell me, okay, the most beautiful port is Simon Bolivar Port because it's a big and an interesting port to visit, right? Or maybe other person uh, tell me, no, I think that Simon Bolivar Park is more beautiful than Tunes Park. Yeah, but it's occurring here. Either is in Bogota Park. There are like different attractions, different places you can compare. You can compare people, objects, or different things. All right. Expensive, more expensive than, and the most expensive. Thinking about that you want to buy a cell phone. There are different brands that we have in our marketing, but some of them are more expensive than the others. Recordemos que expensive significa costoso. En este caso vamos a comparar dos celulares. Podemos decir que the iPhone 7 is more expensive than Samsung Metal 7, right? The most expensive cell phone, you can say that, and now the last version of Apple cell phone is the most expensive one, right? Okay, interesting. If you think about different sports, right, or different activities for you, or in your opinion, you can consider some of them are more interesting to do instead of other ones. So, going to the cinema is more interesting than watching a soccer game, in my opinion. The most interesting. All right. So, thinking about different sports, swimming is the most interesting sport to practice. Yeah. Irregular adjectives, good, bad, better words, the best and the worst. Remember something here. There are some adjectives which are not in the same way with the others according to the grammar component. That's why we're going to modify them. We're going to put them in a different way, not taking into account how many syllables they do have. Just be aware according to their, like some exceptions according to this rule that I explained before, that you're not going to start working with like the same process to make them comparatives or superlatives, just they are different, all right? For good, we're going to use better. No vamos a colocar, good, how many syllables does this word have? Only one, so gooder. No, just better. Bad, worse, worse than, and for the superlative way, we say good, the best, bad, the worst. Okay, those are the differences according to this topic. So you're comparing also like two kind of activities. I would say that, or if we talk about food, I could say that. So uh, salad, green salad is better than salchipapas, of course. The best. Oh, salmon is the best dish and is the healthiest dish to eat. But worse than. All right. Watching soccer games is worse than watching basketball games. And the worst, yeah, you could say that basketball is the worst sport to watch, right? Okay. If you have any question, you can just ask me right now. So you can just click right here or write a message for me. Okay, let's continue. So here there is another chart. You can just see it like you can find like more examples according to this topic. We have only one syllable ending in E like white, fine and cute, wider, finer and cuter. Okay, the superlative, the widest, the finest and the cutest. For one syllable with one vowel and one consonant at the end, like hot, big and fat, hotter, bigger, and farther. If we heard if we heard the superlative, we double the consonant, the last one, and add est, the hardest, the biggest, and the farthest. When we have only one syllable with more than one vowel or more than one consonant, at the end, examples like light, neat, and fast, we say lighter, neater, faster, lightest, the neatest, and the fastest for the superlative way. Those syllables ending in Y, examples happy, silly, and lonely, we change this Y to I and then add ER, happier, the sillier, and the lonelier. Change Y to I, then add EST, the happiest, the silliest, and the loneliest. Those syllables are more, not ending in word. Examples modern, interesting, and beautiful. Use more before the adjective, more modern, more interesting, more beautiful. And finally, for the superlative, use most before the adjective, most modern, most interesting, and most beautiful. Okay? Those are other examples you can take into consideration at the moment you are going to start working your own examples. So here you can see that we take into account how many syllables each of these adjective has, and also We have to identify which is a comparative or it is a superlative, the sentence we would like to create. ¿Ok? Entonces recordemos, si tenemos una sílaba, vamos a seguir como tal esta regla, agregamos la R cuando la palabra, el adjetivo termine en E. Si tenemos también una sílaba, pero como habíamos mencionado anteriormente, tiene consonante, vocal, consonante, duplicamos esta última consonante y agregamos E. Si tenemos una sílaba con más de una vocal o más de una consonante al final, entonces agregamos ER. Si tenemos dos sílabas que terminan en Y, la modificamos por una IR. O si tenemos dos o más sílabas que no terminan en Y, vamos a colocar more antes del adjetivo para el caso de los comparativos o de must para superlativos antes del adjetivo. Okay? Don't forget this explanation. I think that maybe for you it's kind of easy to understand just in this way to try to take into account like some grammar component considerations to start studying this topic. For this, okay, this picture has two cell phones. We have the Nokia cell phone and the Samsung cell phone where we can say according to it, we have different options. Yes, we're going to try to remember the adjectives we studied before, we saw before, and put them right here in this exercise. So let's read. The Samsung cell phone is, where we can say, is cheaper than the Nokia cell phone. Cheaper, do you know what is the meaning of it? Económico, we can say that. We can say also that the Samsung cell phone is smaller than the Nokia cell phone. Okay, compare these laptops. We have like two of them, and where can you tell me according to that? For instance, this laptop is bigger than the other one. Another one, this laptop is newer than the other one, right? All right. So let's continue right here. What topic we're going to use? Comparatives of superlatives. Of course, superlative. Why? Because we're comparing not only two cell phones, but also more than two, like 8 or 9 cell phones. According to this, what you can say. So we can say a lot of things in regards to those, right? We're just make an example of one of them. So we're going to choose the biggest cell phone. In my opinion, I consider this Nokia cell phone is the biggest one, right? Now, which is the smallest? Maybe this one, the iPhone, is the smallest cell phone of them. Okay, so superlative or comparative? Comparative, okay? So if we were talking about LCD and the LED, yes, as you know, right here in the marketing, those TVs are presented for the public. What we can say, what sentence we can make? I would say that LED computer is a computer, no, it's a TV. So LED TV is newer than LCD. Another example. Okay, I would say that this LED TV it's more beautiful than LCD. All right. Other word, LCD TV is bigger than LED, right? So you just are just talking about the differences between those two TVs. Perfect. So far, so good? Okay. I hope those activities were useful for you, that you understand the topic. If you have any questions, just don't forget to let me know. You can send an email to me. You can write, and then I'm going to reply as soon as possible. Right here. Ahora vamos a pasar a tener en cuenta las características de cada una de las actividades para este primer módulo. Recordemos que son dos, ¿ok? La primera de ellas hace referencia a, so comparing operating systems, van a comparar sistemas operativos, right? You're going to start working with the following. You have to use comparatives and superlatives correctly. You have to read information, which you can find in the folder material de estudio. Ustedes van a encontrar allí un PDF que contiene como tal la información gramatical en relación con los temas ya explicados. Sin embargo, allí está la parte escrita para que ustedes tengan en cuenta la descripción de cada uno de esos temas y a su vez más ejemplos. Also, you have to be careful with the use of a specific vocabulary related to the strategic direction. And those are the three competencies that you're going to start developing this activity. What do you have to do? So, you have to design a chart to make a design chart to make a comparison between three operating systems. You should include at least 5 comparatives and 5 superlatives, 10 series in total. You can write about the characteristics of each of them, yes. All charts will be published in the same forum available to all students using Tabla, option in the message top menu, or you can copy the example chart and complete it with your own information. Entonces, en esta actividad lo que se debe hacer es lo siguiente. Ustedes van a comprar diferentes sistemas operativos. ¿Mm? Tres o más, la idea es que ustedes incluyan por lo menos 5 enunciados utilizando los comparativos y 5 utilizando superlativos. ¿Right? Recuerden que para hacer este cuadro ustedes pueden utilizar como tal la plantilla que tenemos acá o pueden crear otro directamente en el foro. Ingresan al foro, pueden encontrar allí insertar tabla y empiezan a crearla. Okay, there are 2 options to make this activity, but it's up to you. So right here, visual appearance, comparative. iOS is more attractive than Android. Okay. Superlative. iOS has the most appealing visual interface. All right. So let's continue with activity number 2. So for this one, operating system history, what is going to be the idea? You're going to use intensifiers, right? The correctly use topics explains in the folder material de estudio. Entonces van a mirar allí el uso de los intensificadores para que tengan en cuenta dicha explicación gramatical. Y luego, the idea for this test is to record a video. You can use screencast or mati.com of you describing how all operating system worked in the past. Use of leads and intensifiers like tuning enough, using a visual add PowerPoint, pressing button, etc. to support your video. Check next webpage to learn a few more about all operating system right there. And what do you have to send? 2 information sheets about 2 different posters, like a Word document, okay? Remember that the resources you can find right there is Material de Estudio PDF format, the database, the complementary material, and the information sheet, the Word, okay? Right here. Entonces, ¿qué ustedes deben hacer? Entonces, deben de grabar un video utilizando Screencast Formatting, cuando van a describir cómo ese proceso operacional ha cambiado, ¿sí? Como fue en el pasado. Van a utilizar por lo menos 10 intensificadores, right? Utilizando una ayuda visual como el PowerPoint, Pressure, Point. Tengan en cuenta también que pueden ustedes mirar la página que aparece aquí en esta parte para que vean algunos sistemas operativos viejos, right? These ideas that you talk about them using past. Right, 2 information sheets about 2 different posters, Word document. Entonces van a enviar un documento Word teniendo en cuenta 2 tipos de posters en relación con lo anteriormente explicado. Okay, so compare, for example, P. Fitzar and IBM net income, right? Compare General Electric net income respect to all of the companies in the church. All right, if we were just taking into account like those of these companies, where we can say according to them, okay? Compare operating systems, decide a chart, compare three operating systems, include five sentences using comparatives, and five sentences using superlatives. This one is the criteria. I'm going to evaluate this activity, just taking into account this. At the moment, you are going to start working with it. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. I hope that you find this PowerPoint presentation useful for you. Remember all the requirements that you have to take into account at the moment you're going to send your activities, as well as the moment you're going to start working with the glossary. So this one is my email, right? And if you want to call me, you can call to this phone number, to this extension. But it is better that you use the email, because I'm going to write and answer as soon as possible. Okay, bye bye. So have a great day.